as it was my fourth year here at the ADA. And by the way, the two winners that year were the Mercedes C-Class and the Dodge Ram. Utility vehicles, for the most part, weren't even a thing yet. The NACTOY Awards were a marvelous concept and quite an endeavor that would be judged by a jury of the 50 most respected journalists from around the U.S. and Canada. And many of you are here today. Thank you again for volunteering your time to make these awards a reality. And special thanks goes out to Jeff Gilbert, your NACTOY president. I do just for one moment recognize Paul Sabatini, also one of our chairman emeritus here today, and also Todd Stott. They're on the committee for the show in the future too. Thanks, guys. We're also pleased once again to partner with NACTOY on an annual charitable donation to 4 charities to help improve those that live in the Detroit area. Let's get the show started. At this time, I'd like to welcome Mike Whalen, Automotive Press Association President, to come up and say a few words. Mike?
Thank you, Rod. And I don't go back as far as the awards do, but I do go back to 2011 when the Chevy Volt won the Car of the Year. That was actually one of the first things I ever covered as an automotive journalist. And it seems like maybe GM should have kept that around a little bit more, given the current state of their industry. But no, thanks for that introduction, Rod. And this year the APA is celebrating our 30 years. We'd love to have you all as members. And please try to contact us or go to our website, automotivepressassociation.net, and here's every way that you can reach us. Next slide. And as always, thank you to our sponsors, Hyundai, Toyota, Subaru, Honda, Kia, Nissan, GM, Ford, and Stellantis. And again, it is so great to always sponsor and partner with the North American International Auto Show and Rod and the NACTOY journalists and the category. Just for a heads up, our upcoming events for the APA are on January 16th, a vehicle roundtable, which is always a lot of fun with some of the journalists that we as journalists always talk to and love to hear from. And then also February 15th with the Ford Futurist, which is always a very popular event for the APA. And as always, if you do report on this event, which I hope you do, please say that you heard it here first at the Automotive Press Association meeting, of course, along with the NACTOY and the DA. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jeff Gilbert, the president of NACTOY and also the APA board member.
Mike, thank you very much. And I think you probably made a mistake in order. If we'd have had the Ford Futurist here first, maybe they could have told us who these awards were, and we could have, all saved a little bit of time. Who knows? But anyway, I'm here representing 50 automotive journalists who make up our jury. If the jury members, if you could please stand. These people drive the vehicles, they rate the vehicles, they vote on the vehicles. And I am one of 5 board members and 50 journalists. And we're very diverse groups. Some are gearheads, others more interested in technology. Me, I'm more of a mass market kind of person, and that's the value of these awards. They represent a consensus of which vehicles are the best of the best for any given year. And this is the 30th anniversary of our award. And through that, thank you, Rod, for being here. We've had a great partnership with the Detroit Auto Show and the Detroit Auto Dealers Association. We've joined with them in making many charitable contributions over the years. And let me give you a little tease here. Something new is coming in that area. We're working on that right now. We'll have an announcement on that later this year or maybe early next year. But it's something that will emphasize our work, not just as a bunch of journalists giving out an award, but as a charitable organization. Also a few thanks to the people from Deloitte, Sandra Luss, Denny Moyer, also for many years in the past, Michelle Collins, Sandra Denny, if you would come up with the envelopes. They're from Deloitte. They don't just count the ballots. Sandra last year went over all the certification work they do, and I'm amazed. As I say many times, I'm a journalist, I don't do math. But these people do it, they get it right, and it's about a lot more than just counting a bunch of numbers. It's about certifying it so that we know there's some weight behind this award. Let's give the Deloitte people. If you can come up and bring us the envelopes, Denny. Thank you. All right, who am I bid for the information earlier. But anyway, also a few other thanks. Allie Cook, Sam Cron of our Lambert PR team, and also Amanda McCrell. She is watching. She handles our website. She does all of the logistics, and she is great. She's invaluable. To my left, our board members. These are the people who will be handing out the awards in just a couple of minutes. But first, a little bit about the process, how we decide these awards. They're not pulled out of thin air. There's a process behind it. Let's turn it over to Vice President Jack Nerad to talk about that process.
I'm going to try and do this without spilling your coffee. And I'm going to go to the notes for my spontaneous remarks here. First, I want to say it's been a privilege and an honor to serve as Vice President of the North American Car of the Year jury. A real privilege. Working with these board members, as you can imagine, has been wonderful. They're terrific. It was also a pleasure to work with previous board members, Gary Witzenberg, Gary Vassilash, and Carl Brower. It has been my privilege to do that. My job here is to explain the procedure, so let's get right into that. The goal is simple. It's something that is, at the same time, simple and very complicated. The goal is simple: to identify the most outstanding car, truck, and sport utility vehicle introduced in each year. The criteria by which we identify these vehicles is nearly as simple and certainly logical. They include innovation, design, safety, performance, technology, user experience, driver satisfaction, and of course value. These are things that I think anybody evaluating cars would look at. The North American Car of the Year Awards honors vehicles that have raised the standards in their segment and are destined to become new benchmarks. That's what we look for. Each vehicle is compared against other vehicles in its segment, and they're not compared against one another unless, of course, they're in the same segment. We all feel good about that, don't we? Yes. More unprepared remarks. The goals and the standards are clear. Thank you. Getting a little shaky there. Getting there is a little bit, well, it's to be honest, more than a little bit more complicated than that. Each year we identify the all-new and completely redesigned vehicles in the market. Then we make certain that as many of our 50 journalists as jurors as is possible drive these vehicles and evaluate them. They are from Canada and the United States. And from that point, we begin a series of elimination ballots that gives us a group of about 30 semifinalists. The best of 2024 is what we call them. They're announced at the Detroit Auto Show. All of these vehicles are then invited to participate in a special ride and drive event that we have around Ann Arbor, Michigan. I might say go Wolverines here. I went to Michigan State, so I'm not sure about that, but go Wolverines. Yes. The majority of our jury participates in this multi-day event. With that concluded, each of the jurors votes in another round of balloting that results in the 9 finalists that you see around the room here. After that last round, there's some more evaluation that takes place. It mostly took place in November, December, where each of the jurors then cast their final ballots, and we determine what are the North American Car of the Year, North American Truck of the Year, and North American Utility Vehicle of the Year. The jurors base their votes on their individual processes. So there are essentially 50 processes. They're all pretty good because these people are experts, and I number myself even among them. The result is an unbiased, independent determination of the best new vehicles in 3 critical super segments, and so that is our procedure. And now, I'm going to reintroduce, with his coffee, Jeff Gilbert.